Starting. All right, everybody, I apologize if my other live did not work. I'm going to see if this one does. I'm going to go back to my other chat and comment and give everybody a link, I hope, to get over to this channel or to this live. So give me just a moment. So since this is my first live, I knew there was going to be issues, and yeah, we are definitely having that today. All right, so we are going to come click on that, and we are going to all right, we are going to copy that over. Continue right now. All right. And I'm going to pop out my chat so I can see what everybody is talking about. Yay, great. I'm glad you can see me, Katie. Thank you. All right. And let me go make sure. Vicki, were you able to follow the link? All right. Let's see. All right, let me, yay! Okay, well, I want to thank you both for already being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me. So, my channel is, not involving the keyboard, my channel is The Siberian Wind, and I am a quilter. I'm located in Casper, Wyoming. I moved here from Alabama last year, and so I've had quite an adventure and quite a journey. I'm glad to have you guys here. I am going to be working on a fantastic project, and let me adjust my volume real quick. Let's see. I can do everything but adjust my volume. Bear with me just a moment. And all right. Is that any better on volume? Just let me know. I will check back. Yay! Awesome. Okay. If I need to talk up, definitely put it in the chat. I'm going to be working with, of course, working out technical difficulties. So there's going to be some of that getting up to that. Thank you, Katie. Yes, this quilt on the wall, this is a Tumbling Blocks quilt. A friend of mine, a late friend of mine, she wanted to make this quilt, and these are the colors that she chose. All these maroons and rose colors, and then the blues and purples. She picked it all, and she cut it all. Then she decided that she didn't really want to work on Y seams, so she basically went, here, have my quilt. And it's kind of my colors as well, so I had a lot of fun putting it together. I will pull it off the wall probably this weekend. I'm expecting to have all my backings in. I've got 5 quilts to baste this weekend, and I will get them basted and start quilting on them. So when I pull it off, I will try to do a lot of up close pictures of it, maybe before I quilt. I may not get to it before I quilt, but it's definitely after it's quilted, I will be showing this one off. It is going to stay as one of my quilts. So let me turn my fan down so that I don't feel like I'm talking over the fan. So what are you ladies working on tonight? Vicki, do you have any projects? Katie, do you have any? I am going to be working, if you haven't seen my intro, I'm going to be working on star systems. It is an Elizabeth Hartman pattern, and I decided that I was going to challenge myself to do an Elizabeth Hartman, and I knew the cutting would be a beast. Everybody has said cutting an Elizabeth Hartman pattern is a beast, and yes, they're not joking. So I have cut all of my fabrics. So her pattern she did with an orange, like a red orange and then an orange. I have pink, red, orange, yellow, green, teal, blue, and purple that I'm going to be doing. I do have this gray for the center. And I'm going to swap over cameras real quick if I can. And I have managed to set up a camera so you guys can see. And so each one of these stars has a center star and then has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 if I count correctly, maybe 8 stars. It looks like 8 stars going all the way around. And so each one of these stars in here, each one of these colors, there's 9 colors total. Each one has its own system of stars, and I believe that's why she called it star systems. But I have cut everything. Let me swap back my cameras. There we go. And it's going to be a challenge. So the pattern calls for 54 fat eighths of fabric, and that is an absolute lot. Oh, well, hey, thank you. I see, Sean, you just joined in. Thank you so much. Yes, I am looking forward to getting this quilt done. And Vicki, you are doing a gear quilt. I am so going to need to see that gear quilt. I'm going to start a Facebook group. I've actually got it started. I'll get you invited to it. I'm going to need to see pictures of that gear quilt. I have got a steampunk quilt in my head that is crying to get out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that gear quilt. So yeah, so the pattern calls for 54 fat eighths of fabric, but you know, Joann's and Hobby Lobby don't cut fat eighths. They cut quarter yards or eighth of a yards. And because I didn't know all my cutting instructions, I went ahead and um, cut my entire quarter of a yard down to the measurements. So I actually have double, so I can actually make 2 of these quilts, or I can make it reversible where front and back are the same thing, or what I'm planning to do, because I didn't cut my outside background yet, I am planning, if I can, to do the original 9 stars and then add extra 9 stars in there to oversize it, because the quilt is only supposed to be 80 inches by 80 inches. And while that's a nice size, it's basically an oversized throw one direction, and it's not what I was looking for. I thought it was going to be a much bigger quilt when I asked for the pattern for my birthday, and nobody thought to look. Awesome. No, Sean, I have not managed to make any Elizabeth Hartman's patterns before. This has kind of been a bucket list item for me. So part of my quilting journey, I have decided I wanted to do a bucket list item. And that's basically how I've chosen what I've worked on. So I have a quilt that actually sits with my massage chair. That's what keeps me functional most days. But that quilt, I just finished it last year. I just bound it. It's been quilted for a few years. I actually paid to have it quilted. And it was a mystery quilt that I did in Paducah, Kentucky, at the quilt show there. I wanted to do a mystery quilt. I'd never done a mystery quilt, and that was kind of a bucket list item for me. I took the class through Kimberly Einmo. If you've never checked any of her stuff out, she is an awesome teacher. She does teach with Janome. I believe she might be a Janome ambassador. Don't quote me on that. She is now living in Colorado, but she has also traveled and lived in Australia as well as California since I've known her, since I followed her. And so she has been definitely an inspiration. It's the first time I actually managed to do a quilt with solid fabrics. That was kind of a new concept for me. I bought all Kona fabrics to go with some batiks that I fell in love with as my focus fabrics. And yes, I will be doing a trunk show. Probably when I get all of these other quilts quilted, I will come back and do a trunk show and show off some of the quilts that I've got. I know one particular that actually hangs on my wall that a lot of people will want to see. So that one may get its own special showing, make its own special visit to the channel multiple times. It's actually the one that I've got, I want to say the background behind the pattern front of this pattern. I held I held the pattern up in front of it to take the picture because it is very much a story of my life. So, but a mystery quilt was one of my bucket list items. I wanted to do an Elizabeth Hartman. That's what this one is. I did want to do a Y seam quilt. Uh, I didn't know what kind of quilts I wanted to do, but it fell into my lap, so that's how I got to do this one. I have done a lot of paper piecing. I did, you guys will get a kick out of this. If you ever get bored with paper piecing and you feel like you have just done so much of it, let me suggest that you not do a quilt with, gosh, I think there was 150 pieces per block at least. It was all schnauzers. It was for my sister-in-law. She absolutely loves that quilt. I do have pictures of it, or a picture of it, so I'll have to show that one time. But it is all paper pieced schnauzers, the dog schnauzer. So yeah, absolutely. So what bucket list quilts do you guys have? I have several that are still on my list. I have a stained glass quilt on my list that is pending. I know I want to do it. I did want to do a Quilt Works. I have done one. I will be doing another this year. That is actually my other project that I will be working on soon. I I can't wait. It has been so exciting to be able to work on all of these projects. One of my other bucket list ones, I download Bonnie Hunter patterns as she puts them out. I love to follow her patterns. Oh, Art East, yes. You want to make all of the Art East and Elizabeth Hartman patterns? Are you serious, Sean? That is an insane goal. I hope you are going to enjoy cutting every last piece of those patterns. When you get to doing, I know, I don't believe if the goat one is an Art East one or not, but if you get around to doing that goat pattern, I want us to share channels because I'm going to be doing that pattern. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. Oh, yes, making up your own patterns and bringing them to life. Yes, absolutely. Making up your own patterns can be so fun and it's actually quite freeing. I know, oh, Katie, you need to come do this pattern with me. I know I'm already ahead though, but since I'm making two of them, you can definitely come join me. I did put the link to the Elizabeth Hartman pattern I'm doing. I bought it, I think it was bought for me through Amazon, but it is less expensive if you directly buy it through Elizabeth Hartman's Shopify. It's probably going to be on the other live since that one did not work. Sean, I wish I could have taken my time cutting. I actually started cutting all of this. Oh, I think I started pressing fabric on Friday and I started cutting some of the colors on Friday, took all day Saturday and did nothing but cutting fabric. And then I finished up by cutting background fabric for this center box on Sunday. So it is that stinking new of a project for me. I definitely didn't get as much done as I wanted to on my other projects, but I do have a lot of those to go. So one of the things that I'm doing, just in case you are wondering, I will be getting a camera pointed towards my machine because I know a lot of people like to watch that. I love to watch people sew and actually see them go under their machine. I know the webcam that I've got that shows my ironing board does not show it very clearly. So I've got two different size. So in the pattern there is, let me swap cameras and I'll show you the caterpillar block. Oh my gosh, 200 pieces in a block. That is a lot of cutting. My hat's off to you. I think I'm with Becca. I watched her uh, with that panda pattern and she had Mary cut everything for her. I am with her on that. That would be the way I would go. All right, so what I am doing is, let me see if I can show you this without showing the instructions. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so uh, we'll have to work on my camera angle on this. So there is a big star and big star and then all these small blocks. So in order to make all of these, it is sewing flying geese units. So that is where I am starting. So for my pink block, this is one of the pinks. This is for the center block. And this will be the same on both. I did not differentiate or cut anything special. So I've already got one made of these, and she does say in the pattern to press open. I did go through and read the pattern, and I reread it a few different times, and she did say to press open. So I've only done this on one other quilt where I pressed open these flying geese, and it has made an absolute difference. It does lay very flat, and I did heavily starch everything. So when you don't see me using starch today, you know it's because I already starched the daylights out of everything. All right, so yeah, I can't imagine getting to that caterpillar block anytime soon. 200 pieces is still insane. And then 45 pieces in those panda blocks. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, Vicky, I'm with you. I don't think I'm up for the 200 pieces per block. I've done some crazy stuff, and Vicky can tell you she is actually a local quilter here. Love this lady to death. She is a huge mentor to me, and she actually helped me kind of like find my way once I got here. I connected with her first, and first time I'm seeing her, she's like, "Do you want my number? And let me go ahead and give you my phone number." So that way she could go ahead and keep up with me. Hi, Chloe. I just saw that you came into the chat. Thank you. I'm glad you finally made it. I was wondering if you were going to see. I know that my other live stream that you might have had the link to kind of disappeared on me. So I'm glad you got to join us. So what I've been working on is I am working on this Star Systems quilt pattern from Elizabeth Hartman. And what I was telling everybody else already is that I have actually cut this pattern out to make basically double because I wasn't happy with the size and because you can't get a fat eighth at Joann's or Hobby Lobby. So I just went ahead and got quarter yard cuts of everything, and I am going to make double of everything. So I have got, this will be my third flying goose unit for the stars. So there's actually two different size stars. So just as a comparison so you can kind of see the size difference. Oh, here, oop, I already grabbed one. Okay, so let me swap over real quick. And so the large flying geese are this big. I mean, they're fairly substantial size. So fairly big squares. However, the small flying geese are considerably smaller. It's a much different size flying goose unit for the smaller stars. So I will have one large star and 8 small stars per unit. and I will have 9 different colors that I will be going through. Maybe in the next 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to get to that caterpillar in the next 4 to 8 weeks. Oh my goodness. I will not be at a point to start anything new in the next 4 to 8 weeks. Well, I take that back. I will be ready to start something new, but I already have it picked out. I am doing another QuiltWorks pattern, and I will, if you guys would like to see it, I would love to have it on the channel as well. It's going to be in greens, white, and black. So it's going to be fairly dramatic. So Chloe, are you working on anything today, or are you just hanging out? And I know, Sean, I believe you're in Virginia. Vicky, you're local. And Katie, you are in Greenland. Chloe, where are you located out of? What, are you in the States? I am so glad for you guys to join me. I really, really am. And thank you for bearing with me on getting going this evening. I do want to try to do these lives about every week or so. So I do want to try to do every Tuesday night about this time. I know I've got a couple of doctor's visit things coming up, and I don't know if those are going to interfere. But if they do, I'll just push off by maybe an hour. So I might be an hour late or so. Okay, so you're in Rhode Island. Awesome. That is one state I have not been to. I have been all the way from upstate New York, all the way to Florida, all the way down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I believe I've been down to the Keys. And then I've been all the way to Southern California, where you can see literally across into Mexico. And I have been all the way to Washington State. So I have been all over the country. But Rhode Island is not a state I've ever been to. I don't know. I know I haven't been to Vermont and New Hampshire and Connecticut. I have been to Massachusetts once. That was as a teenager. But I don't think I've been to Rhode Island. So I did talk with Katie before the chat or before the live started tonight, and I will be also joining her on her channel on February 10th. Oh, Sean's been up to Newport. That's awesome. Yeah, I think, I mean, when my husband drove a semi for a little bit, so I got to ride with him, and that is an adventure. If you've never gotten to see the country from the high rise of a semi truck, you are missing out. It is definitely an adventure. It is definitely an adventure. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I just remembered that I did not start counting to make sure that I don't just continually sew and end up sewing pieces I don't need to. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So I need 3 more of these. So what's the weather like there in Greenland, Katie? I know here it is about 50 degrees, according to my little thermometer that I've got. And we are just now hitting sunset. And what about you, Sean and Chloe? What kind of weather do you guys have? I guess, well, sunset's already hit, so you guys are joining me fairly late. I appreciate it. I really do. So 50 degrees. Oh, that's not bad. That's about what we're running at. So that's not too bad. It got up to almost 60. I know my car said it was 57 degrees. And my husband looked at it and went, "Are we sure this is winter?" And I said, "Maybe. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is." All right. And, oh, 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. That's cold, Katie. I know we got into the negatives for about a week, and oh my goodness, that was not Not what I was expecting, but I handled it just fine. Okay, so absolutely, Sean, I would love to. I will I will respond back and we can start setting up times and dates. Absolutely. I would love to join you. Cold 30 and dropping. Oh, you really continue for okay. How big is Rhode Island? I really haven't even thought about how big it might, how small Rhode Island is. Because it really doesn't have a lot of land mass, but it didn't end up, I looked at a list the other day and you guys weren't on the least populated states. Now, Vermont was right after us. 5 days of Pitarack. What is Pitarack? Uh, I think I've heard you say that on your channel a few times, but I don't. Is that wind that you were talking about? The one that the Inuits say is the snow moving wind? Is that is that what I'm thinking of? I know you didn't have snow for a while, and then you finally got some more snow finally because it had all melted. I know 5 days of anything can be mind boggling, even if it isn't difficult weather. So I am going to take these and I'm going to trim. If you haven't seen my flying geese tutorial, please, I know it's a little dry. I know it is, but please go back and visit it. It is funny at one point. Let's see, north-northwest wind, strength of a hurricane. Yes. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. The snow eater. I couldn't think of the exact words, but I knew it had to do something with the snow. Oh goodness, that's a lot of wind. Now, I will tell you, and Katie, I think you'll be getting as much of a kick out of this as I think Vicky will. So I am going to do a temperature quilt. And I have decided that I'm going to do one, obviously, for 2024. It will be my first year here, full year here in Casper. And anybody who's been anywhere around here knows Casper is known for their wind. So I am doing my temperature quilt that will get the high, the low, the maximum wind speed for the day, as well as the hours of daylight, because that's a new experience for me. Living in the South, you you do get shorter days, but you really don't notice it. It's not substantial like it is here. There's definitely, oh yeah, Katie, I do agree. I know getting out of Greenland, you've told us a few times that you've got to get on the helicopter and then get to an airplane and be able to get out of the country. And I can imagine that those winds would not make that easy, but you've at least got a few weeks, so that's not too bad. That's going to help give you a chance to get out of the country without, or out of the island without getting stuck. Ooh, you want to make a temperature quilt too? Okay. Well, I will tell you, I won't have my pattern accurate for this year, but if you want to join in with me, I do not mind. I would love to share what I'm going to do for my temperature quilt. It is not for the faint of heart. I am going to do a double wedding ring quilt as my temperature quilt. Oh, yeah, Sean, you definitely have to do that. Yes, Vicky, I did not choose the colors aside from the black grunge that I'm going to do for the centers, but I am going to, so if you can picture a double wedding ring quilt, if you know what that is, great. If you don't, Google it or look it up afterwards. I will definitely have any pattern tools I can help you with. I am using an AccuQuilt in order to make mine. So the AccuQuilt die I'm using is the 2 die set for the double wedding ring quilt. for 11 and a half. And my quilt should finish about 66 by 88 before I add the extra rings on the outside, I believe. So don't quote me on that. Of course, I won't know until I at least finish the top row what kind of yardage I'm looking at, or what kind of size I'm actually looking at. But so my interior will be black grunge. So any of the spaces where you typically see a white is going to be that black grunge material. And then in most double wedding ring quilts, you have 3 or 4, and AccuQuilt has 5 little pieces between as your little arcs to make the rings. And what I'm going to do instead, they do have a template and they do have a section cutter on the AccuQuilt die that will cut out a piece that is that arc. And so I did go ahead and cut a piece for that, and I cut a piece for one of the little inset leaves, if you will. It's kind of shaped like this. I'm horrible with drawing lines, so I do have it drawn out. I used tools to help me draw it out. Actually, a can from Candy to draw it out, but it works. And I am going to draw up a template to go inside that arc. And of course, I will test it out before I do it on my real fabrics. But I'm going to do 2 days per interior arc. So my pattern will have to have 8 pieces to get the high, the low, the wind speed, and the wind speed. And I know I am dropping my brain on what the other, hours of daylight. That's the one. That hours of daylight. Yes, Sean, absolutely. Welcome to everyone. And if you would not mind, go up and like the channel, or go up and hit the thumbs up, or if you're here and just lurking, absolutely come put a heart in the chat, or come put something in there. That way I know that you're here and that you're at least liking a little bit of the video. I know I can be wild and crazy. I'm trying to make sure that I don't yell or get super loud, and that I keep everything kind of settled. So, but yes, my temperature quilt will have that wind speed in there, and then the hours of daylight. I looked at the 2023 numbers for what kind of hours of daylight I'd be looking at, and December of last year, when I was here, we had 9 hours and 1 minute. That was our least amount of daylight. And then during the middle of July, June or July, I want to say, we ended up with over 14 and a half hours of daylight. And that is just absolutely crazy to me. I guess I need to go back and look and see whether all the places I've lived before have had that kind of shift in daylight hours, but I am definitely not used to it. You paid the rent when you walked in, Katie. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. I wasn't thinking, I was trying to, I saw that comment and I was sitting there going, she paid the rent. Why are we talking about rent? She lives in a house. Why are we talking about rent? Thank you, Katie. I appreciate the love. Thank you. I am definitely wanting to grow my channel. I started this because when I lived in Alabama, I really had a hard time. I'm going to press these while I talk so that I have everything lined up. So I had a hard time connecting with a lot of other people because there just weren't a lot of groups available to me. Where I lived, I had to drive about 15 minutes to get to a Walmart, which that's not too bad, but that was our closest shopping. So, like, there wasn't a Target closer. The only thing closer to us than Walmart was gas stations, and that was it. There wasn't anything else. And so when I came up here, and you can literally get from one end of town to the other in about 15 minutes, I really fell in love with the area. And I am a member of actually 3 quilting groups here in town. One of those is a Quilt of Valor group. and two of them are regular guild style groups. I don't believe either of them are part of any kind of national guild or anything like that. I was originally part of the Modern Quilt Guild when I lived in North Alabama, but I have not renewed my membership to that. I've thought about it, especially with all the chatter and the buzz around QuiltCon. However, it's a lot. I'm already managing a lot right now as it is. So I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to join that back up. So I'm going to just show you these real quick. So these are pressed with steam, but again, I did pre-starch everything. I can literally sit here and hold this and it is not going anywhere. So all of my fabric is pre-starched so I can use, I washed and pressed everything and then starched everything. So I've got all three of those pressed open. So I'm going to take these back and sew the other side. And then I'm going to come back and get those pressed. And that will probably be about an hour or so that I had planned. I don't want to make a lot of my lives super long because I want people to be able to come and enjoy them, see what I need to improve before I start making, super long lives. Don't get me wrong, I loved that 12-hour live, Katie, but I definitely cannot do that on any kind of regular basis. I was I was definitely hurting and struggling the next day. Well, yes, Vicky, I did go ahead and join the Wyoming State Quilt Guild, so I am part of them. And I think I joined at the end of December because that was one of the things that I wanted for Christmas was to go ahead and join the local quilt guild here, the State Quilt Guild. So technically, I guess I am a member of 4 quilt guilds, 3 of which that I meet with fairly regularly. So I don't know how many of you guys have seen my Bonnie Hunter quilt. It is a quilt of valor. I made it in reds, whites, golds, and blues. That is one of the 5 that I will be quilting sometime this spring, or, well, sometime after I get all my backing. I will go ahead and get that started. And it is, a lot of people looked at me and said, well, that's kind of insane. Let's see, who else is a member of a guild? You're only in one that you oh, okay. Yeah. You host on your channel, right, Sean? I love that. So, okay. Correction, I'm now part of 5 guilds, one here on my channel. And I do love the love. I do love that you guys are here. I do love that you are in the chat and in the comments. You guys really do make me feel like you are here and, that you're not just, lurking. And you're welcome to lurk. I won't get mad at anybody for that. I have lurked many a time. But I definitely appreciate the love and the support that the quilting community on YouTube has offered me. So I definitely want to be able to give that back. And I know a lot of people have wanted to follow and watch what I do. Speaking of that Bonnie Hunter quilt, a lot of people wanted to see what I was doing. Not necessarily that anybody really wanted to do what I was doing because I am the crazy quilter. But yeah, I do a lot. And I will say this, that my local people here call me the crazy quilter because I collect anything that can cut into a 1-inch square. So if the back of this pattern, the back of this quilt pattern from Elizabeth Hartman, she does put a backing option in here, and I don't know how well it shows up, so I do apologize, but it is using all the little cutoff triangles. I'm not sewing those together right now, but I will get there. And, oh, thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Sean. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I will tell you, when I couldn't see my video when I first started up tonight, yeah, I was panicked. And my husband, if you guys, well, most of you guys don't know him yet, if you ever see him on camera, he will be the funny man. He will be the laughter, the commentator. I don't think he'll ever join in, but if he does, he's the funny man. And he is not tech savvy at all. So yes, if I am doing the 1-inch squares, I am ready for our East. Thank you, Sean. Yes, probably. Not that I need another project on my list, but I guess I'm gonna have to look up and see. Vicky, I love you. Thank you. I'm going to have to see whether or not um, that goat pattern is Art East. Do you happen to know, Sean? Do you know what I'm talking about? That goats in pajamas that I was talking about the other day. Do you know if that is an Art East? Because I can't remember. But I cannot. I am racking my brain. But someone here locally wants to do the goats in pajamas, and I said, ooh, if you do it, I will do it with you, but you're gonna cut my fabric. I pulled Rebecca on her. Oh, it is Art East. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, no, I told her, I was like, I'll do it with you. I don't mind. You're gonna cut my fabric. And I've got somebody who uh, I I love this lady to death. I do. Oh my gosh, I do. But she had goats for a while, and she had to give them up because the city she lives in and some of the rules and regulations, she wasn't allowed to keep her goats when some other stuff was going on. So, but she misses her goats. So I saw goats in pajamas. Oh, you may do that pattern. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. We need to collaborate. Um, I think that would be awesome to do the goats in pajamas that way because I am going to have some interesting pajama options for those goats. I think there's one in there that's not going to be in pajamas, but this lady has basically told me the same thing that Mary told Becca, is that there is no way to do the pattern as it's written because she wants it bigger. So I'm going to be doing more than whatever the uh, goats are on the pattern. Yeah, a lot of city ordinances do prohibit goats, and it's really kind of sad because goats. Okay, I could say this: if they multiply incessantly like rabbits, then I could see it being a problem. However, if you're able to keep like one or two goats and that's it, that saves electricity because you're not having to charge a battery for an electric lawnmower, and you're not having to use a gas lawnmower or gas weed eater, weed trimmer, whatever. You just put the goat back there and you let that goat go. Of course, you got to have it fenced in. Did you know, Sean, that there are companies out there that will rent out goats for landscape control, and they will come out and set up their own fencing, and there's videos out there of these goats hopping off these trailers, and I watch some crazy stuff. I really do. But I am absolutely in love with watching goats jump off of a trailer to go clean a yard or what have you. All right, I'm going to swap this over so you guys see me so I'm not sitting here with my back to the camera. And I'm just glad that I figured out how to do the multiple cameras because you guys, I was panicked. I was very, very panicked that I wasn't going to be able to figure out how to get my cameras going. I I'm tech savvy, but it's definitely a new experience for me. I've done a lot of photography but I have not done a lot of video. And as a photographer, I am always behind the camera. So getting on camera, oh my goodness, very, very challenging. We had a couple goes on parents' farm. They used to jump the fences when they wanted grass and other. Absolutely. Now, fainting goats. I don't think fainting goats would jump, would they? Are they too small? I don't. I don't think I've ever seen a goat jump a fence. So that I might have to go look up videos on goats jumping fences just to see. That would be totally new to me. only thing that I've seen jumping a lot is my dog. And if you've never seen him do it, he is now 5 years old, and he is a service dog. They're bigger goats. Okay. Yeah, my boy is a service dog. All right, so I've got 4 of these. I'm going to show you real quick. These are going, hang on, let me grab the fabric. And of course I didn't unclip it, and I need to press it a little bit more. So these will be going, these larger ones will be going, figure out my sides, there we go. These will be going on the sides of here, and there will be background squares on either direction. So let me go ahead, and I may go ahead and put this one together while I've got you guys on here, if you don't mind, because I don't want to leave you hanging on what things are going to look like. So let me find, I buried my stuff. I do that frequently. Oh, those are huge. Those are not them. Where are my squares for the corners? Did I not cut my squares? I did not cut my squares, y'all. So I've got, how the heck did I not cut my squares? I don't know how that happened. So I have, and I did measure these to make sure that these are the right size. So I have my flying geese units. I've got 4 of them. And I've got my center block piece. Oh, I know. Y'all are gonna laugh. I'm gonna swap you guys to the other camera. I'm gonna show you. Yes, it is. It is definitely weird getting used to it. I have some of that fabric in a different color. Which one? The one with the butterflies? I've seen that in a few different colors. Hey, Slay Arts, thank you for joining. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you. I'm excited for everybody who comes to join. Now, if you will, go ahead and like the video up at the top, and then anything, with butterflies, go ahead and like the video up at the top, and go ahead and put a comment somewhere. Well, you've already put a comment in the chat, but put a heart or something else in the chat. All right, so now, this is why I can't put that block together. So I'm covering up the measurements so you guys can't get the measurements. Got to respect the creator. So I've got these flying geese units, and I've got the center piece here. So I've got this unit, and this unit. However, my corner squares that I was looking for and wondering why I didn't cut, I'm not supposed to cut. I'm going to have to put this whole strip together as one unit, and then I will be putting this unit or this star to this flying goose unit, and this will be a unit, and this will be a unit, and same thing for the bottom. So I can't actually put my star together like I thought. I was gonna surprise you guys and get something done. Yeah, no, I can't get anything done. All right. So, do you guys have any questions for me? Do you want me to keep going? I mean, I was only planning to do this for about an hour, so you guys let me know. I do have more time if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and work on more of the flying geese for the big stars. I'm going to trim and press those real quick while I'm waiting. All right. So I am planning to do lives. Especially for anybody who wasn't here at the beginning, I am planning to do lives every Tuesday night. And I know I did not realize that Donna was going to go live tonight within like 30 minutes of me starting. So I do apologize to Donna. I was not trying to take anybody away from Donna. Donna's got a great channel. If you haven't checked her out, it is Handmade by Ying with Donna. So I actually went looking specifically to try to find a night that I wasn't going to be interfering with anybody else. I know I watch Becca Thursday nights, and I know Sean, you've got Saturday mornings. I know, what am I thinking? I think Fallon is right after you, Sean, and I want to say Mom and Pop is right after that, and Ian is usually on Sundays, as is uh, as is Tiffany. Tiffany's who I got started in. Tiffany sucked me in, you guys. We can all blame Tiffany. Love Tiffany's quilting life. Thank you, Slay Arts. This is actually not how I get to set my room up normally. So I actually have, off to this side, I have a giant, Shannon is on Sunday mornings too. I don't know if I followed Shannon. I need to follow her. I have a huge picture window off to the side. I have a massage chair, and with I've got a book rack, bookshelf beside my massage chair, and if I move the massage chair back out to the living room to give myself a little bit more room, I will probably have to get another one to put in here because I really need the extra storage. Behind my camera, directly behind my camera, is my thread rack. Vicky, my quilt block, that barn block that you helped me do, is up on the wall above my bookshelf. It is not going anywhere. It will not move. It is, I'm keeping it. It's going there. And then I've got my camera, and then I've got a closet here. And this is my design board. I do have, you may not be able to see it on camera. It is just poster board, foam core poster boards covered in flannel, so that way that they would sit together. Sewing studio tour, yes. Let me clean it up a little bit. uh, Let me get these 5 quilts basted. I'm going to have to take and set up, I've got 3 plastic tables, and I'm going to have to take and set those up in the living room this time. The last time I set up to do quilt basting, I set it up in here. This table is a new table for me. I used to have a plastic table. You cleaned it up before you recorded. I don't blame you. I Yeah, I need a little bit of time to clean up. A lot of time. But it may change with doing weekly lives because it's a real big hassle to set up and take down and set up and take down. So I may have to rearrange everything. But I will say this, the problem with this setup is that my TV is actually behind me. It is up against the wall, thankfully a little bit out of frame. There's nothing on it right now anyway. But it is, I sit there and I watch you guys that are content creators already that have been here for a while. I watch you guys while I cut, and this is actually my long arms table. So my long arm actually fits right about here. So just off camera. And it is out of the table and on the floor right now. The lady that I bought my long arm from had actually, her husband created uh, a wooden platform to put in the drop for the long arm so that it makes a flat surface. But this table is a beast to move, so I can't really move it to anywhere. So in order for me to baste my quilts, I'm gonna have to do it out in the living room this time. So I'm gonna have to do it when Tom isn't home probably, or when I can kick him out for a few hours. Actually, I need to kick him out for all day. I've got 5 quilts. I've got a queen size quilt. I've got a 60-inch, approximately 60-inch round kind of table topper. I've got this, which I want to say is oversized throw, like significantly oversized, but it's, it's not a queen. I don't think it's a twin. And gosh, oh, if you did not catch Stitch in Heaven, they had a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day mystery. Last year was New Year's Eve. And I did the New Year's Day mystery this year. And I did it in spring colors. My one last year, I did it in Christmas colors. And that is the quilt currently hanging in our living room. That is one of the wall decorations. And so I did this one to change out with. And yeah, I'm going to need to get it up there. And then I have my Bonnie Hunter that I did as a quilt of valor. I did on Ringo Lake. That's the quilt pattern I did. The center block pieces of that in case you were wondering, come out to finish at 1-inch square in the quilt. My 1-inchy projects, I've got two that are coming up. One is going to finish at 30 inches by 40 inches, and it's going to be used as a panel in another quilt. And that one will not be live streamed. That one is a gift for someone who can access the web. So I'm going to keep that one a surprise, and I will have photos of that after it is done. I will probably take pictures and document it so I can do a whole setup in my Facebook group. So I did set up a Facebook group in case you guys want to come find it. Let me pull up the name so that I don't steer you wrong, because I have been known to steer people wrong. I know I told someone that this live stream, I originally said this time and then I said an hour later, so it's a little bit off. So let me see. That's just profiles. I should have a page. Where is my page? I see all pages. No, that's not. Oh, it's a group. I'm sorry. It's a group. It's not a page. It's a group. Let me go to my groups real quick. And I cannot Facebook today to save my life. This is quite new for me. I'm normally not this tech challenged. All right, so it is the Siberian Wind Quilting Group. The Siberian Wind is all one link, and I'm going to see if I can. Yep, there we go. I'm going to copy that into the chat so you guys can see it. And that way, if you do want to come join the quilting group, you are able to do so. I do have a picture of this quilt behind me on that as the header for that group. And what I will try to do is every time that I change out this quilt, I will change out the header in the group. So that way you guys can see. And it is a private group, so whatever you share in that group will not be shared elsewhere. And when I do start getting, there we go. Chloe's already found me, yay! So when I do get going with being able to share on Zoom and things like that, I want to go ahead and be able to ask you guys, hey, put allowed to share in your comment and then share your quilt projects, because I would like to do show and tells on here. Thank you, Katie. I am not quite as prepared as I look, but I'm glad you think so. That is working very well in my favor. Oh, and in case you guys ever wonder, I am not a clothes shopper. I've never been a clothes shopper. My husband can go clothes shopping every day of the week. He absolutely does not mind. I am not a clothes shopper. My husband bought me this shirt for Christmas, and it says, in my defense, I was left unsupervised and the fabric store was open. So my husband has completely accepted my quilting life, my quilting journey, and that this is what I enjoy doing. The other project that I'll be doing this on the lives for sure will be that Quiltworks pattern, or that Quiltworks. It is a Quiltworks pattern, but it's not Quiltworks suggested colors. So I will be doing that on my lives as well. I will work on some more on this off camera, and so I will have more to show you guys. Again, this is just one of the colorways for one of the stars. Yeah, Sean, I am the weird woman because all the women in my family can shop. My grandmother, my mom, my late grandmother was a shopper. All of my cousins that are women, massive shoppers. I have never been the shopper. We go to Walmart, or we go anywhere, and we go to Walmart because when my husband and I met, they were 24 hours. They were still 24 hours. And so when he and I had insomnia and couldn't sleep, it was a joint effort, and we absolutely went to Walmart and just walked around at 2 a.m. We went grocery shopping at 2 a.m. We went and just walked around and looked at crafts, looked at clearance, picked up, HBA items, picked up tools. We literally were the midnight shoppers. And that was the time that Walmart was really kind of empty anyway in our community where we were living, and or well, the multiple communities where we lived. And so we really missed that. But my husband is definitely the shopper. He bought me a gorgeous ring to replace the engagement ring I lost this past summer. He finds all kinds of stuff. And I will tell you, this wall art back here with the quilting terms, and did I ever work retail? Yes, I did. I worked 9.5 years in a drugstore. I did cosmetics, I did photo, I did a lot of photo, did a lot of photo. I did inventory management and became a pharmacy tech and an assistant manager. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in retail. A lot of time. But yeah, these little quilting knowledge things, my husband found them. I did not buy them. He found them. I've got quilting because unaliving is wrong, and that's the safe way to say it on a YouTube. I've got that he bought me. Um, he buys me things because he knows what I like and what works for me. But there's a lot of times he calls my mom and asks her opinion because, yeah. Yeah, the novelty hat. Well, now I will say this. My mom actually worked in retail for many, many years as well. Not as many as I did, but she still shops. And she still shops where she worked. Like she shops uh that same chain, and I just I yeah, the novelty is definitely worn off for me though. I go into the store, I go exactly to what I need. I have already Googled where something is before I go into the store. So that when I go into the store, I walk directly to that aisle. I might miss it by an aisle, or, have to do a little bit of looking as to what shelf it's on. But yeah, I'm not I'm the efficient shopper. I am not the walk around and browse and spend 3 hours in the store shopper. I used to do that before COVID, but that was at midnight and 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. Yeah, there's too many people. Even here, Wyoming is the least populated state, and even here, there's still too many people just to go walk around and just browse. Yeah, just at least at my husband's pace. So, all right, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'll leave this up for another minute or two, and then I will go ahead and get off of here. That way, I can go check on the puppy, see how he's doing. Being locked away from me is not his normal, but last time he was in my studio while I was doing any kind of filming, especially it was on Katie's Live, he kept rolling into the tripod. He'd bring a toy in, roll around, and hit the tripod, and I kept having to get up and go fix the tripod. So, but I definitely want to thank you guys all for showing up. Thank you so much. Yes, it's absolutely fun hanging out, Sean. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Slay Arts. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, Slay Arts, you're Shannon. Okay, gotcha. I will come find you. Because Sean mentioned that you are live also, I believe, on Sunday mornings too. So I will come find you. I will come check out your channel. Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you, Vicky. Yes, absolutely. You guys are always welcome. As long as I've cleaned up the area where you're looking, you're welcome in my. That is the way that I run. And again, I will go live again next week. I don't know, because I had technical difficulties this week, whether setting a live and then joining it is going to work for me technology wise. but I'm going to see Sunday brunch. Awesome. That I don't know what time I normally get up on Sundays. Can you put a time in there for me, Shannon? I'd love to know what kind of time frame I'm looking at. Because I know Sean is up so early on Saturdays. I love your channel, Sean, but I am not a morning person. I don't do coffee, but I do caffeine. 11 Eastern, so that will put it, oh gosh, that's still 9 a.m. Okay, I will try. I will try. When I show up, you've got to do some fireworks because I will try. I 9:30 is my normal wake up time. I've got a couple of doctor's visits in the next few weeks that are going to be 9 a.m.s and oh, I'm dreading that. It's going to be a long trip. Good thing I get 2 days to chill. Yes, absolutely, Katie. You are going to have a long, long trip. North Carolina. It's been a while since I've been to North Carolina, but I think you're going to have fun. You just got to set your pace and don't overdo yourself on this trip because if QuiltCon is anything like Paducah, and I don't know because I haven't been to QuiltCon, but I've been to Paducah many years. Uh, no, I'm not going to decline, Sean. I promise I'll be there. You're just going to have to bear with me a minute or two. I might not have words. It might be. I caught somebody's live the other night, and the names are slipping past me, but she had, I think it was Danny. She had her mom and Cheryl and her boyfriend, I'm assuming, because again, I'm new to to watching her channel. She had everybody on, and they were all drinking wine or drinking alcohol, or most of them were drinking alcohol, and it got kind of crazy. I won't be that crazy at 8 a.m., but it might be a little like I've been a little, yeah. I'll get up and drink a lot of caffeine. We'll do caffeine. I will plan for it. You can't word most Saturdays, so I would not be like, oh, yep, 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 yep. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, yes, definitely safe travels, Katie. That is going to be one long trip. I would sleep in the air as much as I could. I know you've got some challenges with doing that, but I do an eye mask and headphones and put some music on. I'll like save music to my phone or whatever, and definitely, you know, chill as much as humanly possible. You could even put a face mask on as well. 6 hours ahead. So if she's going live at 11 a.m., you are 7 p.m. I like your time zone, Katie. That would work for my body. Well, everybody, I really, it's 16 hours from LAX to SFO to Sydney. I've looked at taking a trip to Australia. I can get a passport and I could handle doing the trip, I think. I would definitely have to plan and plan and plan and plan, and that would be a 3-year plan for me to make that trip. I have kind of wanted to go see Australia, and I don't know if you caught it. I don't know. Have you followed Kimberly Imo, Sean? She spent some time over there. She actually did. She's got a new fabric line coming out, or that just came out. Don't quote me on how or who it's with. I want to say Benertex, but don't quote me. And it's got kangaroos on there. She really loved the roos. They would come up to her back patio and she would feed the roos while she was living there. Oh, yeah, that's a long flight, Katie. And that is such a long flight. I the longest I have flown is flew from Mississippi to, oh, where did we go? I think we landed in Salt Lake City and then flew to Alaska. That is the longest flight I've been on. And then, or well, the flight back was even longer because it was a straight flight all the way back to, I believe we flew into Jackson, Mississippi at the time. So that was a photography trip. So it was a lot of fun. Oh, 5 hours. Oh yeah, the time changes don't help. Time changes, time changes, time changes. Yep, 4 hours. Yep, you lose hours. Then you'll gain it when you go back. So you're going to be sluggish when you get back too because it's going to be a huge adjustment. And you're going to be here from February to what, April? For 6 hours. Ugh, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Well, okay, guys, I am going to go ahead and I hear puppy and I hear hubby. Oh, yep, lose a half date completely. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I want to thank you all for joining me. This should automatically go up to be able to watch the replay, and I will probably take down the first video, the one that didn't work. I don't know yet. We'll see. I may leave it up for a few days, but I want to join you guys to join me back. I will be back on, and this is Mountain Time, so we will be back at 5 p.m. Mountain Time this upcoming Tuesday. And I will, thank you. Thanks for the congrats. And I will post information on Sunday every week. I'm going to try to post every week on Sunday. I'll post a pre-recorded and let you guys know what I'm going to be working on Tuesday, or if there's any kind of time changes or adjustments that I'm expecting. I'll let you guys know then. And I will come join Sean and I will come join Katie. So look for those infos as well. And I will also post them in the private Facebook group. So if you do want to join that, absolutely come join me. And thank you guys. Good night.